Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, the drivers of the Apex this Mazda Sunday Series find themselves here at the new track that we've just been gifted this season here on the iRacing official service. It's going to be St. Petersburg, all the way down in, I think, Florida. That's horrible that I don't know that. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Thank you so much for inviting not only me, but also Racer Nexus and the Apex This Racing League into your homes here on a wonderful Sunday night that includes Mother's Day. Yes, if you acknowledge or celebrate or, you just straight up are a mother, then happy Mother's Day to all you supportive and amazing mothers out there. I know my mother was incredibly happy. I brought my own mac and cheese to the function for lunch, so that was my good deed for the day. My name is Mac Nelson. I will be your lone voice in the booth here tonight. I'll be pushing all the buttons and making all the calls. Big shout out to TrackCams22 for the cameras. We saw this track last week. I guess, yeah, technically it would be last week in the Tuesday GT4 series. It produced a whole lot of fine racing, and I'm sure we're going to see that here today. Like I said, we are at St. Petersburg, located in Florida. Yes, I was correct on that. Opened in 1985. It is a 1.8-mile circuit. Look at the north side of the track there. Turns number 4 through 9 going to be pivotal for these Miatas, who aren't going to have too much power on the straights. As we start gridding up, it'd be worthy to go over our schedule, and we are in week number 8. So next week, the dates are a little wrong on the left side there. Don't get too caught up in that. But next week, we are heading to the Netherlands. We'll be heading to Zandvoort, a fantastic track, a lot of banked corners. These Miatas are going to be flying around there. From there, we head to Sebring, and then Brazil. We go to Interlagos, and then we conclude it here in my and a lot of people's home country here in the Apex This Racing League. Road Atlanta, all the way down in Atlanta, Georgia. Although I don't actually think Road Atlanta is in Atlanta city limits. It is still cool. Nope. Now, I do not have points for you guys. I mean, I have them for you, but I do not have them inside of a graphic. So I'm just going to kind of explain to you how the point system is running down. We do have Nick Belasco, who leads the MPL, Mark Sherman, Harrison Mealy, Dylan Foster, Matt Schlosser, Kenton Bandy, Christopher Croto, Glenn Blanchard, John Agudelo, and Felipe Cox are going to be in that top 10. In your pro division, it's going to be It's going to be led by Brian Lemke, Roman Bykov in P2, Joshua Soto in the 07. He had a big week last week in Germany. We'll see if he can do that here again. Jim Feliz, Oz Exilu, Thomas Lathrop, Michael Brock, Jonathan Cooper, Joe Marr, and Michael Tanagretta are going to round out that top 10. And with that being said, we have got a grid that we have to get to, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go ahead and get through that right now. Remember, it's going to be twin 20-minute heats here tonight. In pole position is going to be the ever-so-talented DJ Alessandrini in that triple three Miata. Jim Feliz, Michael Brock, Brian Zen, and Charles Wolf, we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken, is going to round out your top 5. Brian Lemke, Ozzik Seelu, Tony Wallace, Joshua Soto, and Thomas Lathrop get you to the top 10. P11 sits the Canadian John Cooper, Joe Marr, Roman Bykov, Sean Teeter, Nick Velasco, Carrick Ball, Jesse Gonzalez, Gregorio Amarino Jr., Egan Gehrig, Kenton Bandy gets you to P20. P21 is going to be Spencer Bodwin with Michael Tanagretta on his outside. Row number 12 sees Joshua Smith and Harrison Mealy. Sean Giroux and Mike Bond are going to make up row number 13. Mark Sherman, Dylan Foster are going to be P27 and P28 respectively, with Felipe Cox, of all people, rounding out the grid. He did not post a qualifying lap. He is also not on the grid. So Felipe Cox, good chance that he is just not going to be in race number 1 here tonight. iRacing official pace car going to make its way around the circuit here in Florida. We'll go over your weather here real quick before we get into the action. It's going to be 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which, to be fair, down in Florida, not going to be too bad at all. It is, however, going to be a 37 degrees Celsius track. That's 99 degrees Fahrenheit. And for anybody who isn't, hyper aware of how racetrack temperatures work, 37 degrees Celsius or 99 degrees Fahrenheit, that is extremely hot. So these tires are going to be cooking. Good thing we are doing 2 20-minute heats instead of our 45-minute timed race that you see over on the GT4 series every single Tuesday night. 78% humidity. It's going to make these cars just a tiny bit slower. That air is going to be thick. However, is going to act as a little bit of a down force. So through turns 13 and 14, the iRacing official pace car will go. Big shout out to Jen Brock in chat. Mac and cheese is very clutch. Mike said it's going to be a wild race. Well, Jen, I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Happy Mother's Day to you and all the mothers out there. Cars are going to be lined up, boxed up here. Barney the flag man on the left side of your screen. Going to wave that green flag just a tiny bit late there, Mr. Barney. But DJ Alessandrini is off to the races, down into a very pivotal turn 1 here on the opening lap. You can see Brian Lemke wanting to start a little something on the left side of Jim Feliz. There, they're going to be 3 wide. That's going to include Michael Brock. Oh my goodness, we saw a big crash coming out of that pit exit last Tuesday in the GT4 series. Everybody seems to be making it out okay. DJ Alessandrini, we know he is going to be fast. However, there was a long time in practice. I typically try to sit in these practices for about an hour and a half. I really want to gauge exactly where everybody is. And DJ Alessandrini, to be fair, I don't know if he was putting on a show or what, but he was outside of the top 5 in practice for a very long time. Only just recently squeaked in a good lap, did very good in qualifying, obviously. He is going to start on pole. 29 cars. We're just 1 shy of the big 3-0. As we go back to Joshua Soto, he is going to be sitting in P11. He is down 2 spots. Looking to make a move on the outside of Joe Mayer there. You see John Cooper in the Sky Lounge 77 right behind Joshua Soto. But Soto, considering we've got 2 20-minute heats here, he does have 2 chances. However, if he wants to do good in both of these races, he is going to have to start moving. But things have started to kind of stretch out after the opening lap. Not something you typically see. We go a few cars back. We see Roman Bykov here in the 0-1-3. He is trying to work on MAV Motorsport driver Jesse Gonzalez, it looks like. I do believe that's MAV Motorsports on the on the side of his car. Yes, it is. And yeah, things are just starting to kind of stretch out. Not exactly what I personally predicted. I thought these guys would be door by door all race long. They've already gotten used to the track because of the GT4 series that was here last Tuesday. So I just kind of assumed everybody was going to be really close on pace, but I guess the underpowered Miatas, you kind of have to get into the single stream kind of flow of traffic here. If you step out, that's going to be a whole lot of draft that you are losing. Luckily, there's not too much on the straights. Oh, no! That's going to be Gregorio Amareno Jr., I believe, who is going to feel the effects of that. Maybe it was Harrison Mealy. No, I think it might have been Carrick Ball, who I personally have not seen. He is registered in the league. He's made rare appearances, though. Could have been maybe in some of the weeks that I was absent. But yeah, he's just going to get tight going into turn number, I think that's 13 if I'm not mistaken. And oh no, that's going to cause a whole lot of calamity towards the back there. Big loser there, Harrison Mealy. He got held up. Mark Sherman got held up as well. Gregorio Amareno Jr. has actually crashed and jumped to the pits. So off the heels of what we just saw in what I believe was turn 13, Gregorio Amareno Jr., he kept going down the racetrack and he just decided to pack it in. Well, that's going to be his race finished. But we do have a second one here, ladies and gentlemen, so don't get too worried. You're a big Gregorio Amareno Jr. fan in chat. DJ Alessandrini still out in front, boasting an impressive 6/10 of a second lead over the 59 of Jim Feliz, which if you have to kind of place, I guess, a claim on someone, on the driver who has most contested Alessandrini, I would say Jim Feliz has to be your number one answer. I mean, DJ Alessandrini just so fast. Meatball flag for Mike Bond, who went off track. We'll have to get an update on him. And whoa, that's going to be a lot of cars just parked in the apex of turn number 14 there. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Mike Bond is going to be in the pit lane with that meatball flag. I believe he towed, actually. So along with getting those damages repaired, he's going to have the tow time. Isn't going to help his case any if he wanted to get back out on track and put something together here. Back up towards the front. Michael Brock on the final step of that podium. Jim Feliz going to beat the wall down inside of turn number 9, I believe it is. And once again, I do apologize. Very, very ill-informed on the number of the corners here. I do believe that is turn number 10 right there, because the right-left chicane here would be 11 and 12, and then we have a double right-hander. That is turns 13 and 14. So I do believe I was right. Joshua Soto, oh no, has a meatball flag. Oh no, Joshua Soto having a big moment back towards the back. Oh no. Turn number 12, the high-speed chicane. We're going to have to go back and take a little bit of a further look at this as we head through. It's not really chicane, very loose chicane, but Joshua Soto, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It looked like let's get a cockpit view. Let's go on board with the helmet cam here of Joshua Soto. Oh no, he had some sort of hardware malfunction. That wheel is not moving whatsoever. Shifters seem to work. Maybe he has an independent H-pattern shifter or sequential shifter somewhere in his rig, but that wheel was not moving at all. That's going to be a hardware malfunction on the side of Joshua Soto, and man, oh man, how sad is that? Meanwhile, more to the point, back towards the front. Going to be the 333 of DJ Alessandrini. And usually by now, I mean, we're 7 minutes into this race. Normally by the halfway point with 10 minutes to go, Alessandrini's got a 4 to 5 second lead here on his way to another checkout victory, but there are a lot of drivers that are not letting that happen this time. The big gap is actually going to be between Charles Wolf and co-worker of mine, Mr. Brian Zen, and the number 82 Austin, Texas driver. I always got to have a little bit of impartialness towards Brian Zen. I mean, the dude's my co-worker. My first ever race I called for Racer Nexus a few months back, I believe. Oh man, now we're looking at, that was probably 7-8 months ago maybe. But Brian Zen was my partner on my first ever Racer Nexus broadcast. So yeah, hey man, I root for Brian Zen a little bit. Sue me, man. But around turn number 9 comes DJ Alessandrini. He's got the pack in tow. Jim Feliz, Michael Brock, and Charles Wolf. Charles Wolf, I believe this is only his 7th or 8th start of the season between the two GT4 and Mazda MX5 Sunday Series. In that 00, and you can just tell how much these cars slide in those final 2 corners. They have a double right-hander. Before we get onto the front straight, those cars are just trudging through that asphalt. And that is a characteristic of a very, very hot track. You can't get the car to do exactly what you want to do. And man, oh man. Look at those rotors glowing when they go hard on the brakes down into turn number 1. But through the S's here, turns 2, 3, and I believe it's just 2 and 3. And then we get to our most technical section here, which is where I believe Michael Brock is actually the fastest on track. It's going to be a series of turns 4 through 9 on the circuit. And, I mean, you could tell Michael Brock in the GT4 series last week, he was incredible through this section. Seems to be incredible also in the MX5. Thomas Lathrop, he's up 2 positions, but didn't have the best qualifying start. He started this race in P10, has made his way up to P8, but he is going to have a very hungry Tony Wallace right in front of him. To the rising edge, 84 Miata trying his hardest. And looky here, Jesse Gonzalez inside of the top 10, which he is apparently in the MPL division, how it sits for me. However, he has a 3,100 iRating, so I'm not sure if he's actually supposed to be in the mid-pack Larry division. I am not sure, so just keep that in mind. We might have to be informed a little later on in the night where he sits, which division. For me, it has him listed as an MPL. However, with a 3,100 iRating, seems maybe just a little overkill for the MPL division here, but he is going to lead if he is in the MPL series. If not, then it would go to Nick Belasco, who is currently running 15th overall in an alleged unofficial P2. In the mid-pack Larry's, Harrison Mealy going to get around Josh Schmidt there. Oh, and they're going to come to blows. Turn number 9 or 8, I believe. Wait, no, I believe that is... Yes, that is Harrison Mealy. I thought he was in a different scheme last week, but man, oh man, he is going to keep on trudging. But oh man, that was killing the run for Harrison Mealy there. That was your closest battle on track. And I mean, this is the tail of the race here. You can see coming down the front straight, these cars are just accordioned out, man. They are stretched out. Not exactly the wheel-to-wheel battle that we saw in the GT4 is probably a glaring characteristic of these underpowered cars. Not going to be too fast on the straight. Very, very techy in the corners. However, at the end of the day, a car can only go so fast. And, I mean, you can just tell these drivers putting everything into these cars. trying so hard to squeeze out as much time as they can, catch up to the man that is DJ Alessandrini, who boasts an incredible 7,600 iRating here on the iRacing official service. Jim Feliz almost to 5K. He sits at 48.68. And as we take a look here at the hard chargers, or biggest movers, I apologize, Mark Sherman going to be in first place in that metric. He is going to be currently in P18, but he has gained 9 positions. Same for Dylan Foster, who started this race in P29. He is going to be in P20. Jesse Gonzalez, Spencer Beaudoin, Michael Tanagretta, the other drivers who have moved the most in this race. However, that's the positive direction, and unfortunately, the number 07 of Joshua Soto is our biggest mover in the other direction. He is going to be 17 positions down, currently in P26. Just south of 7 minutes to go here in heat race number 1. Things aren't exactly heating up in the top 3. Michael Brock has been on the back bumper of Jim Feliz multiple times during this race. He hasn't been able to get anything done, but can the 421 find something here? I mean, look at those rotors, man. Oh my goodness. Here comes Brock out of turn number 9. He's going to lose a little bit of time to Jim Feliz, as it was the other way around when we visited this track last week in the GT4 series. It was Michael Brock who was very well through turns 4 through 9 right there, and Jim Feliz was having a little bit of a struggle. We saw Jim Feliz give up multiple spots there last week. Looks like maybe he got in the lab here with the Miata, decided to try some different things out, and it seems to be working very, very well now. Brian Lemke has got past Tony Wallace. That happened a little bit ago. It wasn't anything too crazy. But this right here, what you're seeing, besides the Michael Brock and Jim Feliz fight, is going to be your closest battle on track. So 5.5 minutes left here in heat race number 1. We'll do another heat. Invert the top 4. That will be your field for our second race here as soon as this one gets completed. And DJ Alessandrini looks like he might be the man once again. And with how, static this race has been when it's come to positions, and how, equally yet apart these guys are driving, Jim Feliz being half a second down feels like 3 seconds down at this point, because there is just very, very minimal gains and losses here in this race. Like a lot of these drivers might just be on the same page when it comes to the pace. It just becomes a draft train. There's really nothing you can do about it. However, Brian Lemke is in trouble from Tony Wallace. He's having to defend, which means Brian Zinn in the number 82 can stretch his legs and get out to a bigger lead. If Brian Lemke can no longer be in the draft of Brian Zinn, it's going to spell chaos for the 3 drivers that are behind him, and also himself, as Tony Wallace, Thomas Lathrop, and Isaac Silu all right behind them. Isaac Silu was pushing the car incredibly hard during practice. We'll hop on board with him. that was an onboard look there at the number 911 Miata Vaz Exilu, I apologize. He was chasing Thomas Lathrop, however, he isn't able to really bridge that gap. He's not really able to make up the difference. Ryan Lemke still a few cars ahead. He is holding off Tony Wallace. We want to welcome Stan Hammonds to the chat. Stanimal 1477, out of town for work, have to live vicariously through the boys. So big shout out to Stan. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for inviting us into your home here tonight on a wonderful Sunday evening. 2 minutes left. DJ Alessandrini is about 6/10 of the way done with his lap. I'm not sure if this is going to be where he receives the white flag or if we'll go 2 more. More than likely going to be 2 sticks down for Barney the Flag Man. And I got into an argument with one of my friends the other day about the whole 2 sticks up, 2 sticks down thing. Apparently that's only a dirt racing thing. You know, me being the redneck I am from Kentucky, you know, I do go to a lot of dirt tracks, a lot of local stuff going on, and apparently the whole 2 sticks up or 2 sticks down thing for 2 laps to go is only a dirt racing thing. I have no clue if that's true or not. I claimed it wasn't. My friend claimed it was because he had never heard of it, so, you know, that was an age-old battle we had. None of us bothered looking it up because why would we do that? Real men back in the day didn't have phones or computers to look things up. They just argued. So that's exactly what we did. Number 421 of Michael Brock still in. Whoa, in P2. Hang on, Jim Feliz. What in the world happened to Jim Feliz? We'll take a look here at the Racer Nexus blimp. Through turns 2 and 3. Jim Feliz is just going to have a poor turn 1. Look at that. And then he's going to hit the wall coming down the mini straight before we get into the technical turns 4 through 9. So, oh no, just a nightmare for the 59 of Jim Feliz. If he finishes 4th, however, that means he will start on pole for our second race coming up very, very shortly. But for now, DJ Alessandrini is out to a 1.5 second lead, which is going to feel like a mile under these conditions. More importantly, Michael Brock is not going to have the draft. The white flag in the air for DJ Alessandrini. We're going to go one more time around. And for anybody wondering about the MPL, if Jesse Gonzalez is in the mid-pack Larrys, he has got this win pretty much wrapped up. If not, Nick Belasco pretty much has this win wrapped up because Mark Sherman is the next person down on the MPL standings, and he sits about 6 seconds back from Nick Belasco. Into turn number 4 for Michael Brock. Charles Wolf is going to choose the outside. It is, however, going to get him set up for the inside of the next corner. However, before we get on the straight, it is a right-hander. So Michael Brock going to be able to get his position back now through turn number 9. Got to make sure you don't hit that wall just millimeters from hitting that wall. DJ Alessandrini will go ahead and get it out of the way now. He is going to be your winner once again in heat race number 1 here at St. Petersburg. Now that the formalities of that are out of the way, Michael Brock, Charles Wolf, and Jim Feliz are going to have a big battle here for P2, 3, and 4. Michael Brock got out to a little bit of a lead here on these guys. Charles Wolf trying to battle off Jim Feliz, who has been very, very strong, except for that one singular mistake. DJ Alessandrini is going to take the win. However, Michael Brock is going to come home P2. Charles Wolf in P3. Jim Feliz in P4, just barely missing out on the podium. Rounding out your top 5 is going to be the 82 of Brian Zinn. Ryan Lemke going to come right behind him. Tony Wallace, Thomas Lathrop, Oz Exilu, and Jesse Gonzalez rounding out your top 10. Now, once again, I say this, there is maybe a little bit of disparity, maybe a little bit of confusion in the MPL. If Jesse Gonzalez is a mid-pack Larry, he has 1. However, if he has not, it is going to go to Nick Belasco. Mark Sherman got P3 unofficially in the MPL class. Dylan Foster, Harrison Mealy, rounding out the top 5 of those classes. As we take a look here at the MAV Motorsports 200 of Michael Tanagoretta. He's going to get off the track, and that is going to be our first race finish. We go into a 3-minute warm-up. And as we do that, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, it's going to be race number 2 and our final 20-minute race of the night here in the Apex, this Mazda Sunday Series, live on Racer Nexus.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. Rain is clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to virtual St. Petersburg. There, you can see the posters, or I guess, I don't even know what you would call that. Hanging around flags. There you go, hanging around the track. Once again, I apologize for not getting a better look at Jim Felice's incident in heat race number 1. But we are going to go ahead and move to our starting grid for heat race number 2, our last race of the night here at St. Petersburg. It's going to be Jim Felice, who finished 4th in heat race number 1. He is going to start on pole. Charles Wolf, DJ Alessandrini, and Michael Brock going to be all the ones affected by the invert. Brian Lemke, Thomas Lathrop making up row number 3. Brian Zinn, Tony Wallace, Ozzie Silo, and Jesse Gonzalez are going to get you all the way to P10. Flipping the page, we see Nick Belasco and apparently now Jesse Gonzalez. I believe it is actually John Cooper. Should be starting in P11. Spencer Baudouin, Roman Bykov, Michael Tanagretta, Joe Marr, Keegan Gehrig, Mark Sherman. Gonna get you to P18, Dylan Foster, Harrison Mealy. Going to round out row number 10. We flip the page again and see Harrison Mealy, Sean Teeter, Joshua Soto, Gregorio Amarino Jr., Kenton Bandy, Mike Bond, Carrick Ball, Sean Giroux, and Felipe Cox, who also has not taken the grid. So although Felipe Cox did connect to the session here tonight, he got laps in practice. He is not going to be able to join us here tonight, week number 8, here at St. Petersburg. With that being said, iRacing official pace car making its way around the circuit here for another 20-minute race. Man, oh man, I cannot see what these cars are able to do. iRacing official pace car, which looks like an absolute monster, by the way, compared to these MX5s that we see here on the grid. It is going to pull into the safety of the pit lane, although pretty sure a car like that's safe all the time around Miatas, because all you got to do is hit the gas and you are long gone away from these MX5s. But here we go, drivers lining up, getting paired up, cubed up. 2 by 2. Barney's going to wave the green flag. We are live for our final race here at St. Pete. Down into turn number 1. Charles Wolf's actually going to win the drag race, and through turn number 1 goes Charles Wolf. The 00 going to take the lead after turn number 1. But heading through turns 2 and 3, things might get a little dicey. Michael Brock. Oh no. Got caught on the back bumper there of Alessandrini, had to pull out to make sure DJ Alessandrini did not turn over or flip over, get turned. Michael Brock a little loose. Just a little loosey-goosey there on the cold tires. A lot of these drivers probably head into these opening laps thinking the car is going to feel exactly how it felt during race number 1, and although it will here in a few laps, it's not going to do that on cold tires. We have to remember we are in a separate race. Michael Brock almost spelling defeat for himself early, and just like we saw in heat race number 1, if we head up to our Racer Nexus blimp view, I mean, you can see Brian Lemke and Thomas Lathrop having a battle right there, but for the most part, it's going to be single file again. Not much wheel-to-wheel going on here, as this track was nothing but battle after battle in the GT4s. It's really funny to see when you get a different car here out on track. You get a little less power in those wheels, and things just kind of start to draw out. That looks like Nick Belasco, though, diving down towards the inside of Mark Sherman. He is somehow going to be in P4 in class. He has lost 6 positions since starting this race. Drivers working on their second lap now. Jesse Gonzalez is going to be firmly out in front of the mid-pack Larrys once again. If he is actually a mid-pack Larry, there goes Mike Bond on the inside of Nick Belasco, forcing the issue. That's the type of racing I expected to see here at St. Pete. There is no scaredy cat here. Oh, man! And Nick Belasco almost running into the catch tires. Oh my goodness, they are battling back here for P5 in the mid-pack Larrys. Josh Smith, Gregorio Amarino Jr. going to be 2 going pros who have kind of just sort of ended up in this battle. Josh Smith gonna have to be smooth, just like the Josh Smith in the early 2000s out in Atlanta. If you know, you know. Jay Smooth gotta be real smooth here at St. Pete. And he's in... What is this car now? Oh, no! That's gonna be a spin for Dylan Foster. He's into the infield. No, I take that back. That's gonna be Mike Bond, who's had a little bit of a spin. So after pushing the car so hard, we'll go back and take a look at both of those. It says Dylan Foster has had a crash. And I do agree with you, Stan. I'm not a fan of this blimp camera here at this track, so we're going to switch it back to our normal camera view. Oh, so Dylan Foster just had a little bit of a moment, decided to abort the corner. No harm, no foul there. He keeps racing. But now we'll go back and take a look at what happened to Mike Bond here. Coming out of turn number 14. Just a little too quick on the throttle. He's going to end up giving a nice little lawn mode towards the infield. I'm sure the greenskeeper there going to be very, very happy with that one. Plus, they have to cut. If you think about it that way. Brian Lemke has posted the fastest lap. It's only going to be a few thousandths, not hundredths, only a few thousandths off of DJ Alessandrini's lap, both running a 124.03 as it stands toward our hundredths calculator. Got to break it down and go a few more positions to find the gap. So basically, they are running identical times here at St. Pete. We're already almost 5 minutes into this madness. And now Jesse Gonzalez, who is one spot better than he finished last race. He's now battling with Joe Marr. Oh, no! And he's just going to run into the back of Joe Marr. And that's going to turn the 82 of Brian Zinn. Oh, no! Brian Zinn's going to get back going, but it's going to be at the back of the grid. 17 spots down. Now he goes to war with Mike Bond inside of turn number 2. We'll have to go back and take a look at this. You see Jesse Gonzalez, he's just going to anticipate maybe a little later on the brakes. As we get, that's not the look I wanted to see. Then Jesse Gonzalez is going to get through untouched, but that's going to be Joe Marr. Or Joe Mayer. Once again, I apologize. I actually have a zero idea. Kind of bad on me. Bad broadcasting job. I know. I apologize. But there it is again. And then the calamity is going to cause Joe Marr to run into the 82 of Brian Zinn. Man, oh man. That is not one you like to see, and apparently we've had a big moment. Things just keep happening here. Sean Teeter, Roman Bykov, and Mark Sherman have all had a moment. So if we take a look here, I believe we're going into turn number 4 here. As, oh no, just kind of the same issue, and then immediately on the brakes was the 0-1-3 of Roman Bykov, and as you can see, I mean, it is just an absolute crapshoot to get through there if there's any sort of injury to your car. So he is just going to call it quits there. That's Roman Bykov in the pits. Sean Teeter going to also be in the pits. I believe he just now came out. Either that or he is currently coming into the pits. Either one. But now look at Mike Bond. He's at the back of a big battle going on here. Little loosey-goosey heading into turn number 4. There's Kenton Bandy in the number 87. As trying to get a look on what that car is. It kind of looks like some Labubu stuff. Now, granted, I have no idea what a Labubu is. So that could be just completely wrong. It's just the word that came to mind, so I said it. I have zero filter here. I'm kind of an idiot, and you guys can see that. Lemke and Feliz had a little bit of a get-together, I believe. But right now, we're going to take a look at Carrick Ball, who does now have a meatball flag, so I'm sure we're going to see exactly how he got it here. And oh no! Very surprising that that gave a meatball flag. But it is going to. Nick Belasco is going to be in the pits now as, wow, things are just starting to pop off, ladies and I cannot keep up with it, just to be frank with you. I do so dearly apologize. There was something between Brian Lemke and Jim Feliz, I believe. I'm being made aware by Stan. Yes, race 2, bringing the action. It sounds like something a Labubu collector would say. Now that's crazy. Now that is crazy work. No, nope, not me, sir, not me. But Brian Lemke is up 2 spots into P6. Jim Feliz had a little bit of a fall off. I'm still trying to find it. This event time, or this event sheet has been very, very filled, one might say. DJ Alessandrini did get by Charles Wolf. I want that to be known. However, it was just run-of-the-mill standard racing overtake. He is already out to a 1.5 second lead. I mean, did we ever really think there was going to be any sort of contest? They did a very fine job of contesting him last race, but it looks like it might just be another night for DJ Alessandrini. Kenton Bandy has been handed the black flag. Gonna have to see something about that. Checking in on Brian Zen. He sits back in P14, which is good for him because he did set P21 immediately after that crash. And Jen said, Zen's profile picture cracks me up because it inadvertently looks like he's striking a pose with his arm behind his head with how the outline was drawn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that is exactly what it looks like, and I never ever saw that until you said it. Wow, yeah. That is a fantastic call from Jen there. Yeah, I sort of used to roast Zen for complaining a lot, but when I became a steward, I was like, dang, this guy gets wrecked a lot. Yeah, Brian Zen just really, he catches the unfortunate end of a whole lot of situations, and, you know, it doesn't take, you know, a rocket scientist to see that, in my opinion. Now, once I said, I do have just a little bit of partialness towards Mr. Zenny, being co-worker here at Racer Nexus, being a partner in crime. So maybe my views are a little jaded. However, it's nice to see someone else kind of agreeing with me there. Battles are going to almost be non-existent on this racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Joe Marr here working on the 77 Canadian of John Cooper. That Sky Lounge Motorsports 77 doing a very, very good job holding it down 3 places higher than he started. Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada driver, the homes of Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. As my broadcast partner, Alex Goldschmidt, will say most of the time. Me and him both incredible fans of wrestling. John Cooper's going to let Joshua Soto by. Joshua Soto has already crept back up into 8th place here, because he got himself a very, very bad starting spot. He is up 18 positions into P8. Little over 8.5 minutes to go. We just hit 8.5 minutes. So we've been racing for 11.5 minutes. Things are starting to kind of stretch out. Like I said, your biggest battle going to be what you see in focus right here. John Cooper, Joe Marr. Joe Marr going to shut the door on John Cooper just a tiny bit. That's going to compromise his line. They're beating and banging. Michael Tanagretta, Doran, John Cooper, just a little bit. Not going to do any damage, though, so we continue racing. Spencer Beaudoin here, another Canadian in the mix in the 0-1-0. He's also from Winnipeg. A little bit of the Winnipeg connection here. Golden Angels, I believe the tag team of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega was. They only wrestled just a few times together in AEW, but I do believe their name was the Golden Angels. So we've got that in a racing form factor here in the form of John Cooper and Spencer Beaudoin. Brian Zen going to be right behind them. He's got Gregorio Amarino Jr., who is right behind him. And Harrison Mealy is currently going to be unofficial second place because, like I said, I have no clue if Gonzalez is actually a mid-pack Larry or not. Jen says nobody has ever seen Brian Zinn and Mike Honcho in the same room. Am I exposing my age for not knowing who Mike Honcho is? Sorry. Once again, I do so dearly apologize. I feel like that's like a once-a-week thing. Jen drops a reference that I am just either too simple-minded, too peanut brain, or too young to understand. So that is that. However, Jesse Gonzalez, like I said, if he is actually a mid-pack Larry, he is going to be far and away in the lead here. He sits in P6 overall, and he's got a huge gap to Harrison Mealy, who sits in P2 in class. That battle that we saw earlier between Mealy, Bond, and Sherman before they had their big kerfluffle was going to be your closest battle out on track. Now that belongs to Mark Sherman again, who is chasing down Oz Exilu, who, you know, I have to say, I'm just a little bit surprised by the performance Oz Exilu has put on here tonight. Like I said, in practice, he was absolutely rapid with that DeWalt 911 Mazda Miata, and unfortunately, during the race, he just hasn't been able to string much together. So that's going to be very, very awkward if you're Oz Exilu. Maybe next week at Zandvoort, things will go his way just a little bit better. Now Thomas Lathrop challenging Brian Lemke at the end of turn number 1. They're going to head through turns 2 and 3 side by side. That's going to kill their pace up to Charles Wolf, but 5.5 minutes left, or just a little bit south of that, actually. So we've got more than likely 3 laps, maybe 4 laps to go once they get back to the stripe. But Brian Lemke in that number 41. And oh man, he is looking good. Brian Lemke and Nick Velasco, if I'm not mistaken, do a little bit of a team up in the in real life racing scene. I was getting caught up. I was getting acclimated, a little informed in the Discord, if you will. I believe Brian Lemke and Nick Velasco have some races they run in the northeast area of the United States, if I'm not mistaken, in the New England area. So Brian Lemke getting that IRL seat time. That's what all of these sim racers dream of. Brian Zinn also, I believe, has a little bit of IRL action going on, as I'm sure a lot of these drivers do, man. I mean, it is the passion, it is the hunger, the growing force that drives the sim racing market. These guys want to be in a real car, but hey, a cool one-to-one simulator like iRacing is enough for me, personally. Now we take a look at Jesse Gonzalez here going through turns number 2 and 3. A few cars up, you're going to see that very, very close battle between Thomas Lathrop and your P3 sitter, currently Charles Wolf. Thomas Lathrop had a little bit of an opportunity around the inside there. Now we go through the very miniature straight before we get to turns 4 through, or turns 8 and 9, I apologize. Heading through turn number 9 now, Brian Lemke got a ton of speed in that technical second sector, as it is going to be a 5-car lineup. They are so close to each other. This is going to be your closest battles on track. Oz Exilu actually just passed a compromised Keegan Garrick and Mark Sherman. Them two got into it just a tiny bit. Oz Exilu able to get around the outside there, but this is going to be for P3 and 4 and 5. Michael Brock and DJ Alessandrini are really the only 2 top guys that have a little bit of breathing room. As we take a look back here at Charles Wolf, he is going to get out and away from the rest of that battle. Every single corner they battle is a corner that Charles Wolf is going to get out and away. And man, oh man, what a night it's been for Charles Wolf. Charles Wolf started this race P2, meaning he finished P3 in race number 1, and it looks like that might be where we see him finish again. Gonna be a similar situation here with DJ Alessandrini. 2 minutes to go in the race. Coming to the line, I believe we're gonna get 2 sticks up for Barney the Flagman, indicating 2 laps to go. We'll have to take a look. Thomas Lathrop being challenged, or challenging, I should say, Charles Wolf. I apologize. Alessandrini across the line. Barney the Flagman just watches the chaos go, so it's going to be 2 sticks, 2 laps to go. Charles Wolf trying to get maybe a little bit of side draft going on. I'm not entirely sure why he went all the way to the inside, but now into turn number 1. Here comes Gonzalez on the inside of Brian Lemke. Brian Lemke not going to let that slide. The 41 is going to get back in front of Gonzalez. These guys are battling. You have to assume Gonzalez is not in the mid-pack Larry's division because, man, oh man, is he racing these guys hard. Charles Wolf with a little bit of a tail whip there to Thomas Lathrop in the Titan Technical. Turns 4 through 7. Now we hit 8. Now we're hitting 9. As Charles Wolf has 3/10 to the good on Thomas Lathrop. Dan said some of you have never watched Talladega Nights and it shows. Oh, Stan made the reference. Oh, I apologize. I do so deeply apologize. Man, oh man, Gregorio Almireno Jr. having a black flag. White flag in the air for DJ Alessandrini. Michael Brock is only 4/10 behind. So inside of the final lap, can Michael Brock contest, challenge, do anything to the throne that DJ Alessandrini has built himself? He's not going to be really anywhere near the points because just, frankly, DJ Alessandrini, I think, would maybe just win it if he was being scored or if he did show up every week. Man, oh man, this guy is quick. But Michael Brock is challenging him. It's probably the closest challenge he's had in a while. And if you look, Alessandrini has burnt his tires up a lot more than Brock. Alessandrini, I know he's pushing a little bit more speed through these corners, but that was a big bit of front wheel understeer, I should say. I apologize. On the side of DJ Alessandrini. So now coming through turn number 10. Michael Brock, he's lost a little bit to DJ Alessandrini. He's going to have a big final 2 corners if he wants to get within striking distance. He's pushing it. Michael Brock around turns number 13 and 14. It's going to be for Nye. It's a big battle here in the back. Jesse Gonzalez is just going to use Feliz as a wall, it looks like. Feliz is going to get around him. Gonzalez is going to lose another spot to Soto. DJ Alessandrini, Michael Brock going to be 1 and 2. We already discovered that. Thomas Lathrop is going to finish on the podium with Charles Wolf. Brian Lemke rounding out your top 5. Jim Feliz is going to be 6th with Joshua Soto. What a drive from him. It's going to be 19 spots gained. For the 07 of Soto, he is going to finish P7. Jesse Gonzalez going to be P8. Brian Zinn, P9. Spencer Beaudoin going to round out your top 10. And man, oh man, we have got some stuff. We've got some stuff to discuss on that final lap. Here is your first look. This is going to be Michael Tanagretta and Spencer Beaudoin. Coming down to turn number 10. They're going to get into the tire fence. Oh, no. Tire barrier, I guess is the better word. Oh, my goodness. I don't know who that was going through there, but that was extremely extremely close on their part. Now we look at Harrison Mealy here, who is battling the Peanut M&M car. I believe it's a Peanut M&M car. Yes, it is. Oh, no! And that's going to be Keegan Garrick in the 640 he's running into. Jim Feliz also apparently had a little bit of a crash. This is through the final very, very loose chicane. Brian Lemke's going to go off. Or no, that's Jesse Gonzalez. That's where this issue came to light. Jesse Gonzalez just could not get the car slowed down. So it's not going to cost Jim Feliz any positions unless, oh, it is. Or no, I apologize, it is not. That was actually a back marker. Man, oh man, wow, yeah, I think Stan said it towards the top of race number 2. The action was here inside of race number 2. Race number 1, it got a little bit of a stalemate. Drivers just really trying to feel things out, but man, oh man, race number 2 was absolutely action-packed. Yeah, DJ could not shake Michael Brock. I do agree, Stan, but in the end, he did. Sorry about that, guys. I couldn't really keep up with chat too much. That was a whole lot of action going on there. We'll go through the results of heat race number 1 and your feature while the drivers get into the waiting room, if they so desire an interview here. Heat race number 1 is going to see DJ Alessandrini, Michael Brock, Charles Wolf being your podium. Jim Feliz, Brian Zen, Brian Lemke, Tony Wallace, Thomas Lathrop, Ozzie Silu, John Cooper rounding out your top 10. Now, once again, if Jesse Gonzalez is actually a going pro and not a mid-pack Larry, that's going to shift things just a little bit. We'll have clarification on that. If we do see Jesse Gonzalez back next week, I'll be sure to have that fixed and 100% confirmed with you, ladies and gentlemen. But for your mid-pack Larrys, it saw Jesse Gonzalez, once again, unofficially, not entirely sure there. But how we see it is Jesse Gonzalez, Nick Belasco, Mark Sherman going to be your podium with Dylan Foster, Harrison Mealy, John Teeter, Sean Giroux, Kenton Bandy, Mike Bond, and Felipe Cox. Moving on to your feature, mid-pack Larrys is going to see, once again, Jesse Gonzalez, Mark Sherman, who could potentially have a win here if Jesse Gonzalez ends up being a going pro. Dylan Foster in P3, Mike Bond, Sean Giroux, Nick Belasco. A little bit of a bad performance here at St. Pete. The Titan Technical, and maybe the other cars kind of just got to him. Harrison Mealy, Kenton Bandy, Sean Teeter, and Felipe Cox are going to be your mid-pack Larrys. DJ Alessandrini led every... Well, actually, I can't say that. He did not lead every single lap, but he led a lot of laps. He did finish in P1. Michael Brock in P2. So that's going to be a sweep, a P2 sweep for the 421 of Michael Brock. That's going to help his championship gains out incredibly. Thomas Lathrop, Charles Wolf, Brian Lemke, Jim Feliz, Joshua Soto, Brian Zen, Spencer Beaudoin, Michael Tanagretta. Going to round out our top 10. And we're going to get a look here at Mr. Michael Brock. He is going to be the guy we bring into the broadcast booth. Michael Brock, driver of the 421. Mac Nelson up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Mac. Yep. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Man, oh, man. I said it on the broadcast. Heat race number 1 was a little stalematey. You guys, I think, kind of got into your positions as an entire grid, and you kind of just liked where you sat. Race number 2, however, you didn't get to see much of it because, you know, suffering from success, you were up in the front battling with DJ Alessandrini. But man, oh man, it was a war zone behind you. How did it feel being able to stay so close behind a driver that is 3,000 I rating above you? I mean, DJ Alessandrini's quick.
Yeah, he's insanely fast. So yeah, he's the benchmark for sure. I mean, I don't know. I am exhausted. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, just keeping up with him was. I know there was battling going on, but I had no idea what was behind me. So, yeah, it took everything I had to I kind of caught him a little bit, but then I was just in his, there was a couple times where like he probably made like 2 mistakes, like the entire race. And I would always, I think I was just following. I made the same mistake as he would do it, so I wouldn't get any time on him. But
yeah, I mean, that's the racing paradox. You get into the zone and you kind of just unintentionally follow the exact same line as the car ahead of you. So when they make a mistake, you end up making the same mistake. And it's just, I mean, that's a whole other thing to swallow when it comes to racing and sim racing. But you did a fantastic job here tonight. You found a good bit of success also in the GT4s, if I'm not mistaken, when we came here last Tuesday. So I have to ask, did that kind of help you gain confidence for the Miata race tonight?
I don't know about confidence, but like I learned the track from it, so that was helpful. I didn't go into it just blind, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect with the Miata races. Like I kind of feel like I'm better at GT4, but I don't know. Maybe I'm getting better at MX5s now, because beginning of the season I just couldn't really, I'd be like top 10, maybe 5 if I was lucky, but now I'm actually podiuming, so I don't know. Don't know what to make of it, but maybe it's just the street courses that I do well in.
Yeah, I think it's been very easy and very telling that you have been getting quicker and quicker every single week here. Now, I want to look forward to the future here. Next week, both in the GT4 and the Miata series, we'll be heading to Zandvoort over in the Netherlands. Is that a track you like, or is it one that you're not too happy on?
No, Zandvoort's great. I've done a bunch of laps there. There was like a Lizard Brains 3-hour that I did, like, I don't know, a few months ago. So I know it pretty well. So yeah, it's a great track.
Yeah, without a doubt. I agree. And sorry,
go
ahead.
Yeah, so no big complaints as far as the track. I think it's really good. So look forward to that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there's nothing really to say. If we had a driver here who won both races, we call it a sweep. I'm going to call it a sweep for you for P2. You finished P2 in both of your races tonight. It's going to help out your championship aspirations a ton. And before we let you get out of here and celebrate, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and as always, my lovely wife Jen. Thanks for being awesome. And everyone else at Apex this, and hey, and you too, Mac. Special thanks to you, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Mr. Brock. We're going to let you get out of here and celebrate. Also, I said it on the broadcast, but make sure, just reinforce it, man. Tell Jen Happy Mother's Day. I appreciate her coming out every single week. Being active in the chat means a lot. So thank you to Michael Brock. Thank you guys, everybody. And, we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too. That is going to be Michael Brock, who I believe going to be the only driver that we see for an interview here tonight. So that is going to do it. And oh man, what a fantastic race it was here tonight. 2 races in the Apex this Mazda Sunday series. We already went through your finishing results, so the only other thing to do is say big shout out Apex Sim Racing, not only for the league, but also the Apex Sim Racing Shop.com, where you can find all sorts of sim racing accessories, whether it is, wheelbases, pedals, chassis, whatever you need, they have got it. You can also build a bundle on the website, Fanatec, Moza, Sim Magic. You can build a bundle, you can get everything done in one singular purchase, you get it to your door, and bang, you're sim racing. You're in the bottom split Miata races, man. I mean, it can't be any better than that. Join in on the iRacing official service. It's only going to get better, it's only going to get bigger. So go ahead and claim your spot while you can. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for attending. Man, oh man, thank you guys for inviting us into your homes here on a Sunday. Big shout out. In the bottom right, Track Cams 22. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcasts. Next week, we head to Zandvoort for what I'm sure will be a fantastic time here in the Apex This Mazda Sunday series. But if you are curious, you can come see how the drivers react to it this Tuesday when the Apex This GT4 Tuesday series takes place. And then you'll be getting all that action again, except in a Miata next Sunday. So make sure you mark your calendar. Because man, oh man, what a time it's going to be. Well, from everybody at Racer Nexus and Apex This, we appreciate you guys. You've been watching a live broadcast of the Apex This iRacing League. If you'd like your league broadcasted, contact my boss man, Rob Campbell. He will get you sorted out. Hey, you never know. You might even hear my lovely voice. Sorry, bad time to have a hiccup there. But you might just hear my lovely hiccupy voice, depending. Hey, you never know. But it has been glorious. Happy Mother's Day to all who acknowledge or celebrate. Happy Mother's Day to all the sim racing mothers out there or the ones that just watch the broadcast. My name, Mac Nelson. I was your lone voice in the booth here tonight. If you are interested, Racer Nexus currently has the High Point Racing GT World Challenge Round 2 at Sebring going on. And I believe the Freedom Motorsport Alliance Next Gen Series is just now wrapping up, so you're not going to be able to catch much of that. However, I think there's still a little bit of time left in the HPR GT World Challenge, so go take a look at all that. Be back here this Tuesday for the GT4 series, or next Sunday if you want to watch the Mazda series. But that's going to do it. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.